You're still watching Prime Morning. It's a Wednesday, and of course, you know how we do it on Wednesdays. It's always the big interview. And like I said to you when we're actually opening the show, I told you it's a political season or the election year. And so most of our conversations will be geared towards that. And so we can have anybody come from any of the political parties, but you don't have to be just anybody. You ought to have played a very pivotal role in the political party that you belong to. And so today, we are actually looking at the NDC. And this man has played, a pivotal role in the Ashanti region for the NDC. He is actually the former secretary for the NDC in the Ashanti region. I'm talking about the man, Kwame. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
God has been kind.
It's good to have you here.
It's a pleasure being here.
You have a radio voice.
I hear that a lot.
Oh, you hear it a lot?
Not surprising, I'm getting.
Have you tried radio before?
Not in the classical sense, but I've done politics on radio.
Oh, just that?
Politics, that's all, not more.
Why? Why haven't you tried radio as a profession?
Well, I've had a lot of passion for politics.
Okay.
To the extent that I've not ventured actually into other areas.
Nothing? Are you a lecturer?
I'm a lecturer.
Yes.
But what I mean to say is other issues that are not structured, I've never ventured into them. But that's fine, we'll discuss.
Wait, if you say other issues that are not structured.
Yes. No, what I mean to say is that you need to do to discover.
Okay.
You need to risk
to
establish. I have not really moved away from the structured system. You go to school, you graduate from school, you look for a job, you get a job, you do the job in the formal sector or informal sector, whichever way it is. I have stuck to that.
Oh, right.
My passion was politics, or is politics. So the best I've done is politics. But, well, once you are telling me I should try radio, who knows?
Yeah.
We may consider it.
You should. Most people, you've been in the news for a lot of reasons, positive, negative, and all of that. But let's talk about how Kwame Zoo became, a lecturer. Because you're saying that you never thought of even doing radio, so radio hasn't been your thing, but you knew what you wanted, politics. Yeah. However, you're a lecturer. How did you become a lecturer then?
From the very formative years, I've always aspired to be in the intellectual community. As a young boy, I took my studies seriously.
Okay.
So I knew that somehow, some way, I would end up a lecturer or in academia. So my friends and my colleagues from very tender age began calling me Prof.
Oh.
As I sit here, one of the famous names I'm known for is Prof, even though I am not technically a professor.
Okay.
But people refer to me as Prof because of my disposition for matters of the academia. So, of course, you are young, you've got to read your books. Once you pass your examination, you move to the next step. I went through the meal accordingly. And subsequently, after I graduated from Legon, I think somewhere 2010, I saw an ad in the dailies that was running and advertised for lecturer position at the then Kumasi Polytechnic.
Right.
So I gave it a try. I applied. I went for interview. Then I did my part. I think I acquitted myself creditably well. The committee was pleased with what I was bringing on board. So I was granted an appointment as a lecturer, which I began in 2011, and ever since I've been a lecturer, doing politics alongside. Not many people know that I'm a lecturer. Everybody assumes I'm a career politician, which is not bad anyway.
Right.
But I have been a lecturer for the past 13 years.
Okay.
I'm in my 14th year.
So what do you teach?
I teach agro-entrepreneurship.
All right.
We try to mentor and raise young people to graduate into their own agro-based ventures and agro-related ventures as possibly as we can. One major challenge we have in our country has to do with unemployment, youth unemployment. So when we train graduates annually without any placement or any feet to stand on, we are not contributing to solving the menace of unemployment. So the Department for Agripreneurship saw the need at the time to embark on this journey where young people are recruited, are trained, and assisted to graduate into their own businesses in the agricultural field. So that is what we've been doing for the past 13 years, in the 14th year.
That's great.
We have a lot of amazing stories.
But why
of success.
agriculture, though, for you?
Yeah, I read science in the secondary school. At our time, every young man wanted to read biological sciences. Then at Legon, when you apply for the biological sciences and for some reasons you are not offered, then there were other options. One of the options was agriculture. So I was offered agriculture. And at the time, I had a very weird impression about agriculture. I think many Ghanaians still do. It's one of our major challenges as a country. Very weird impression about agriculture. But when I accepted admission and got to Legon, I discovered that the opportunities in the agric sector are enormous, extremely vast. It's a very wide spectrum of a field. I mean, from production, along the value chain, to processing, to distribution, among others, that had not been explored by the country. So I thought, well, if my dreams of reading biological sciences could not be realized at the time, I could contribute to something meaningful in society, and I think agriculture was the way to go. So I read BSc Agriculture at the University of Ghana and graduated successfully. Then subsequently, I was offered an opportunity in my department to do my national service in the department.
Oh, right, okay.
So
you know, usually those who get the opportunity to do national service, first-class student?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but I did my best.
Okay.
I did my best. So I did my national service at a place called African Regional Program, Postgraduate Program in Insect Science, APIS, at Legon.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my national service there. And usually, once you do national service on campus, you are inspired to proceed with your master's degree. So I drew inspiration from the system. So I decided to enroll for an MPhil program in post-harvest technology at the Crop Science Department of the University of Ghana. A program I read and graduated successfully in 2010. Just after the graduation, like I mentioned earlier, I saw the ad. Here I am today, a lecturer, in my 14th year as a lecturer.
I can tell you're very proud of yourself. Tell us a bit about who Kwame is. How is like growing up like? Did you always want to be a lecturer?
I think the word is I'm thankful, not proud of myself. I'm thankful for how far God has brought me, and I'm trusting Him to even take me further. I have always wanted to play a pivotal role in our country's forward march. And I think there's no better way, in my opinion, to play that role than to train the next generation of young people. So I saw lecturing as a means to contribute to this country of ours. And I've always been happy being a lecturer. Nonetheless, politics also does same. You want to assume a leadership position so that you can also contribute your quota to national development. So I think the two of them could readily be, married together. They are all, riding towards the same vision of assisting people generally.
Right. Which schools did you attend?
Yes, I began my primary education in the Volta region in a community called Shan. So you never heard the name before?
No, I haven't.
It's a town, it's a border town.
Okay.
It's just a walking distance to Togo. I had my primary education and basic education in general at Shan. After completion, I went to Awudome Secondary School, also in the Volta region, Chito,
Okay.
Awusko. I completed Awusko. Then after that, I enrolled at the University of Ghana, where I read my first degree and my master's degree programs. Currently, I'm also a student. I'm reading for my PhD. I'm trusting God.
Okay.
I'm trusting God to finish in time and finish properly.
Right.
So I'm still learning. Even though I lecture, I'm still learning.
Okay.
There's no end to learning.
And after that, maybe we go into the professor level ship, right? It's going to happen, isn't it?
The reality is that professorial appointments are ranks.
Yeah. Right.
You don't have to be trained for.
Okay.
Once you are a lecturer, these are ranks. You begin as an assistant lecturer.
Yeah.
If you do not come into the system with a PhD. As at the time I joined the system, that law was not applicable. So I went with a master's degree, a researched master's degree at the time, but I was employed as a lecturer. But presently, you join as an assistant lecturer. When you acquire your PhD, then you get promoted to a position of a lecturer, after which you get promoted to the position of senior lecturer. Then from senior lecturer, you move to associate professor.
Yeah.
Then subsequently to a full professor.
Fantastic.
So it is not necessarily tied to academic pursuits, even though you need a PhD, a terminal degree.
It's a rank.
It's a rank.
Okay.
So I'm praying and trusting God that once I remain in academia,
It's going to happen.
certainly, I should be a professor. Masha Allah.
It will. Now, what got you into politics, though?
Well, for many people who know me or who knew me, I've been a very private person. I never loved the cameras. I never loved attention. Even now, I'm very quiet. I don't really like the cameras.
You don't look quiet. You don't sound quiet.
I'm extremely a quiet person.
Really?
Very, very quiet person.
Okay.
But along the line, I remember at the postgraduate level at Legon, I discovered that the then Grasak president, every day people were complaining about him. He's done this, he's done that, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. So one day I said to myself, why do we keep complaining about people when we have the capacity to change the status quo? So I'm like, well, one day I called a friend and I announced I was going to run for Grasak president at Legon. He says, really? Grasak president? Oh, from this? I said, I am going to run.
Right.
He knew me to be a bit of an introvert. How do you intend to go about your campaign? You've got to be sociable to be able to talk to the people and rake in the votes. You are not that kind of a person. Well, I said, let's give it a try. Who knows? I may change. So I announced that I was going to run for Grasak presidency. Then the long and short of that story is that I did not eventually run for the position, even though I campaigned vigorously to be elected. Along the line, I pulled out of the contest. But it gave me the requisite exposure. I met the right people. Then...
Was that when you met people from the NDC?
The reality is that I've always been NDC.
Okay.
I've always been NDC, but not a frontline politician. Okay. I've always been a member of the NDC, but not a frontline politician. You know, there are active participants who lead the party, but there are others who take the back seat and contribute to the party in their little way.
Okay.
I've been one of those people who felt I was not cut for the frontline politics. But, of course, once I was in the system and announced I was going to run for Grasak, somehow your partisan colleagues will rally around you. So they did.
So did they support you with finance and
no,
all that?
please.
I just...
No, not at all.
We have heard that, you know, there's always financing from these political parties for the universities. Is this true?
Well, if there is, I have not seen one. Okay. Neither have I benefited from same. What I do know is that in politics, social capital is important. And networking. When you have the people rally around you, there's nothing you cannot do.
So there is no financial support in there?
Well, I am not discounting the possibility of that. Okay. What I'm saying is that personally, I have not experienced it.
Okay.
I have not experienced it.
Right. Now, so you've now become a main person in the NDC out of that. And what took you to the Ashanti region? How did you become the former secretary for the NDC in the Ashanti region?
Lecturing.
Okay.
Like I indicated, I got an appointment as a lecturer. When I got to the Ashanti region, the political me could not sit on the fence. So I joined the activism. I remember those times, very few of us were communicating in English for the party in Ashanti region. We were about just two of us, on all the English platforms in Ashanti. It should be Kwame Zui. He has to be there, actually. He has to be there. And my tree was poor, extremely poor tree. In fact, I couldn't speak tree when I got to Ashanti region. Yes, I couldn't speak tree at all. The least I could do is bra at the time I got to Ashanti region. So I got stuck with the English platforms.
Yeah.
I played my role proudly. I contributed my quota with a lot of enthusiasm, loyalty, and commitment to the party. I did that for a period of, I think, 3 or 4 years. Then in 2014, the party was doing its internal reorganization. I saw a window. I decided to run for a regional position. Prior to that, I was a member of the Mention North constituency.
Okay.
So when the constituency executive committee was constituted, there was an avenue for appointments. They appointed me to join. Okay. That is created by the party to prop the strength and the capacity of the executive structure at that level. Right. You know, it's an elective office. If you elect people, you may not get the fine balance of, you know, capacity, intellectualism, tribal balance among others. So we leave room for some appointments to be made at the constituency level. So after the elections, the Constituent Executive Committee deemed me fit to be added. So they added me as an executive member at the constituency level. So subsequently, I saw an opening in 2014 at the regional level as a deputy regional secretary. A lot of people made comments. A lecturer running for a deputy secretary at the regional level, that was beneath you. I said, no, it's an opportunity to serve and understand the system better. Besides, I could not even string a perfect sentence in tree. So let me go in there, learn, and also contribute my quota. Then I became a deputy regional secretary in 2014. The reality is that I campaigned exclusively with English language.
In the Ashanti region? And you won?
Of course I did.
Hands down.
That is the love the people of the party showed me in Ashanti region. And I have never taken it for granted.
That's nice.
I have never taken it for granted. So subsequently in 2018, I sought for promotion as a regional secretary, and they promoted me. I became the substantive Ashanti regional secretary. The loud one that you know.
The loud one that I know. So in 2019, you got yourself in a bit of, trouble thereabout. You got your hands a bit dirty because of a comment that you made with Ochihene.
Perspectives. I think that's the appropriate word. Perspectives. We've traversed that season, and we've gone past it. But I would insist that the right word is perspective.
It's perspective.
Yes, perspective.
But do you regret it?
Life is a journey. Regrets are not very necessary. What matters is we are living. Once we live, we are bubbly and we are cheerful and thankful. That is it. So I insist, perspectives.
But at that time, did you feel your party let you down because they disassociated themselves from you?
Well, the party is a congress. It's an aggregation of people. The party as a body, an entity, I do not recall ever issued a statement to that effect. But of course, individual leaders within the party, one or two, made their personal commentary. You see, the party has a channel for official communication. If the party wants to speak, they issue a statement signed often by the General Secretary of the party. I am yet to see any such statement. But I heard individual party stalwarts make a comment or two. But like I said, it's a matter of perspectives.
But were you hurt about it? Were you hurt?
I am the kind who seldom gets hurt. I believe people would offend you anyway. That's life. Your ability to absorb the pressures is what makes you a leader. So I seldom get offended by people. Once it happens, it's okay, let's move on. It doesn't really matter. So I don't dwell too much on pain and offense, no.
You wanted an office in the National. You didn't get it.
No.
Do you think this particular act affected that?
Delegates have their own appreciation of who ought to be where and at what time. So when they take decisions, you have to sit down quietly and have a sober reflection over the decision they have taken. I believe the delegates of our party, within the circumstances within which we find ourselves, have taken the right decisions. We are a political party that has been we've been victims of extremism from the MPP. So delegates of our party in 2022 were literally looking for a set of leadership or leaders who exude a certain level of seeming composure, but with aggression.
You don't think you're
with aggression? I think, as a person, I have my own strengths. And one of the strengths that I have is that I am an administrator.
Okay.
I am an administrator.
Okay.
I ponder over things excessively in taking my decisions. But in an election as crucial as the 2024 election, we have to be a little more aggressive. That is how I see it. We have to be a little more aggressive. Besides, all matters is that the party has a leadership. And in any case, I am serving on several committees of the party. The people in the current position where they find themselves, I speak to them daily. So my ideas could still be channeled through them. That is the beauty of democracy. You don't need necessarily to be in the seat.
Okay.
Everybody who wins is worthy of it. You support the person wholeheartedly. You drive the party to victory. And that is exactly what I'm doing. And I'm committed to it. I speak to my colleagues very regularly, And I'll continue to do that until victory is ours.
Is the NDC win in 2024's election?
Absolutely. You see, I made a comment yesterday to a group of persons I met. 2024 elections is not about the NDC. It is about the soul of this country. Yes, of course, I'm a member of the NDC, so everybody expects me to speak this way. When you buy 3 pieces of tomatoes for 10 Ghana cedis, you should be concerned. You should be worried. Today, people who love kinky can no longer eat kinky with fish because the prices of fish are astronomical. Now they fry eggs to eat kinky. It never used to be the norm. Egg was complementary to the fish, but today it's exclusive to the kinky. Times are hard. Ghanaians are suffering. We are at the lowest of the ebb. In fact, we are sinking further. Yesterday, I had a commentary that the IMF says Ghana has made strides in the first quarter of 2024. The economy grew by 4.7%, industry leading by 6.8%. What a jobless growth. A growth that does not engender import substitution. So the forex is struggling. Look, one of the key macroeconomic indicators to look out for in taking decisions as a voter is the exchange rate. And I'm not even saying it. Dr. Bawumia said it before, that when in doubt, check the exchange rate. Look, the CD is losing its value at a pace we have never seen before. This morning I heard in the news that 16.1 Ghana cedis to $1. Your CD is not stabilizing, yet you are seeing growth.
Yes, okay.
What kind of growth is that?
So I take us back to the year 2015. CD also performed at its worst at a point in time, 2015. And it was a struggle for the NDC to be able to control the city because we saw that, not this kind of level of depreciation.
I'm happy you are. You are coming home.
Not this level.
I'm happy.
But it was still a struggle. It was more of the NDC struggled to stabilize the city at that time. How is the NDC going to be able to appreciate the city when they come to power?
You see, when I listen to Alhaji Bawumia, then I'm worried. Recently, I heard him say that 15 is smaller than 4. So at the time we left power and handed over an economy with a CD of a 4 Ghana cedi, I think 3.8 Ghana cedis actually, 3.6 to $1. Today, the 15 Ghana cedis, which now presently is 16.1 actually, to $1 is better than our time. I'm like, what kind of voodoo analysis is this? Nobody's saying that circumstances may not make the CD depreciate, but the level of depreciation is worrying. Businesses cannot plan.
How does the NDC plan to bring our city to an appreciation level where we can now say that the city has appreciated? That is what we want to know.
Even before the serious discussions, let me make you laugh. If the president today instructs his appointees to release the amount of hard currencies they are keeping under their beds, our city will be stronger. It's on a lighter note, though. You remember the Cecilia Dapa story. One human being has a lot of cash stashed in her bedroom. That's Cecilia Dapa. We've not gone to the big, so-called big fishes in the MPP yet.
So you're
saying... They were no, that is not the policy of the NDC. I'm saying on a lighter note that even if that is done by the president, we'll see a lot of changes. But you see, the challenge we have today as a country has to do with the recklessness of the Akufo-Addo, Alhaji Bawumia government. Excessive borrowing.
You still haven't told me what the NDC will do.
Cut down on expenditure. Cut down significantly. No, President Mahama has said it several times, that he is going to run the leanest government ever in the history of this country. 60 ministers. As of today, MPP is still appointing, Nanado is still appointing people. They are vetting the deputy minister for trade and industry, the many ministers he has had. Has it engendered growth? No. 125 never engendered growth. One additional deputy minister, what is it going to change? He's going to draw fuel. He's going to be giving a Land Cruiser. He's going to be giving all the allowances. What is the usefulness of such a decision? The level of profligacy. You dig a hole for $58 million. You think that $58 million could not have changed our fortune as a country? You dig that hole to the glory of God you claim. These are the issues we are talking about. The profligacy, the contractual, excesses and underhand dealings
So the
among
NDC
others.
will do?
All we are saying is that cut down on your excessive borrowing, which NDC will do.
Okay.
Reduce the size of government, which NDC will do. Invest in the productive sectors of the economy, which NDC would do. More importantly, we will link industrialization to import substitution. Okay. Not the kind of sloganeering we are hearing today, one this, one that, one this. What kind of industrialization regime? We are hearing one district, one, what is it? One factory. Factories that are not reducing our import bill. Are those factories? No. There must be an agenda as a country. So that in the long term, in the medium...
Scrap 1D, 1F?
Are they existing? No. It's an avenue to give money to their cronies.
They say they exist?
It is an avenue to give money to their cronies. Mention one key commodity in Ghana that 1D, 1F has been able to reduce importations of same. Mention one. There is none.
That's what you say.
There is none. We are still importing rice. We are still importing rice. There is none. Look, prices of food commodities are still rising. Food inflation is the highest in the history of the country as at now. So exactly, I heard about planting for food and jobs. It is not translating in any way.
For you in the agriculture sector, yes. How can you have a system where we can drop the inflation on food if you come to power?
Oh, it is simple. Interventions should be targeted genuinely at the farmers. Look, I read recently the cocoa pricing issue, that at the time that cocoa is doing so well on the international stage, we had in advance sold our cocoa for about 2-3 years at a very paltry pittance pricing. Who sent us, who pushed us to take such a decision? Because somebody is in a hurry to take his cut. That is my perception or my opinion. Somebody is in a hurry to sell in advance because he's not sure his job will be guaranteed tomorrow. So he has decided that even though prices of cocoa may be better on the world market and Ghana stands to benefit, let's sell our cocoa 2-3 years in advance and take the money now. If I get fired tomorrow, I've got in my cut. That is the thinking of an appointee of Nana Addo and Alhaji Bawumia. We cannot build a country that way. So interventions should be directed at the farmers. It should not be centered at the ministry level, where the ministry will be moving around checking the prices of what's the name? Planting, and lying to Ghanaians that planting is cheaper here, this is cheaper there. No. We have extension offices. We have a functioning Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Through the extension offices, let the interventions touch base with our farmers.
I like that you're speaking on the interventions. Now, just yesterday, we heard that the NDC had agreed with Parliament on the pricing of cement. I'm sorry, please pardon me. The weather is not too good, so it's actually showing me pepper. The price of cement, the regulation coming in. You were saying that we should allow farmers to be doing their thing. Now the NDC has actually agreed with Parliament and you're going to regulate prices of cement. I
am not saying we should allow farmers. We should support farmers to do their things. And the support should not be on our lip. It should translate into action. And the farmers should feel the interventions we are making. You don't prepare a list and publish that you have invested in 100 and something thousand farmers. On the grounds, it's not the case. Fertilizers that we're distributing in our era for free, you come around, fertilizers that have been written boldly on them, not for sale, to be distributed freely to farmers, you come around and you are repackaging some of those fertilizers and selling to farmers behind the scene. How can the farmers be able to succeed in the agricultural activity?
Well, the cement sellers are saying the same thing. Why did the NDC agree with this, though?
The cement conversation is a very difficult conversation. You see, there must be a fair balance between profits, and this is not the position of the NDC, this is my personal opinion.
Okay.
There should be a fair balance between profits that are made by industry players and apparently the prosperity of citizens as well. I mean, look, averagely a bag of cement is selling for 105 Ghana cedis. That's quite on the very high side. And the way it is going, if it continues this way, because they are also saying that they are following the inflation rate and the forex, the exchange rate, once it goes, they are importing a lot of things for their production. They have to translate the cost to the citizenry. I have not seen the detailed LI that has been laid by the Honorable Katie Hammond.
Yeah.
I am aware that the minority has perused it and they have okayed it.
They have okayed it. They okayed it yesterday.
No, I have no problem with that.
Yes.
I have absolute confidence in the capacity of our minority to take the right decision in the interest of the masses.
Okay.
What I'm saying as an individual is that I have not had the benefit of perusal of the LI in question. It is a specific line items that can inform my position on the matter. But what I can say is that there should be a fair balance between profits and the prosperity of the Ghanaian. And I think once my minority or our minority has taken a decision to support it, I'm sure there is something in there that safeguards and guarantees the prosperity of the Ghanaian people. I'm very certain. No, you talk to me. We're here. See, what many people don't know is that.
So, you see, on one breath, it's if it favors the minority or the minority is okay with it, then we are good to go. But in the other breath, if it doesn't, then it's not supposed to be.
That is how it ought to be. You must disagree with policies on their merit. It cannot be a blanket disagreement. I mean, minorities or whatever.
If you have a policy in agriculture where, we have the ministry making decisions on behalf of the farmers, why do we have a problem with it?
When you are underpaying cocoa farmers, we cannot agree with you. When you are paying
how much were you, NDC, paying the cocoa farmers?
Well, the reality is I don't have those figures here.
Yeah, because even the farmers complained during your era that they were being paid underpaid.
What I do know, that at the time we're doing about 60 to 70%. Yes, 60 to 70% of the world market price. We are currently doing about 40% of the world market price. That is the challenge we have. It is not the quantum of figure, it is the percentage. If you are getting something at a very high price, then you are paying a paltry 40% to the farmers. It's a source of worry. So but if you are doing between 60 and 70%, that is quite appreciable. I hope you understand the point I'm making. That is quite appreciable. If they were paying presently between 60 and 70%, I doubt if anybody would be complaining. Nobody would have complained. That is where the difficulty is.
But the farmers actually did say they are happy with what they are receiving.
No, you've not heard them recently, did you? Which of the farmers said they were happy?
Oh, we spoke to a few of them when the money's increased.
No. Farmers complained. In fact, they even issued a statement to that effect. Yes, check properly. They even issued a statement to that effect. Yes, they complained. Farmers happy? No. Why?
Yes.
In this country?
Yes.
No. You should get your information right.
No, I seriously have it right. So I actually had a conversation. I'll try and find it. So I'll try and find it. Before the monies were increased, yes, they did complain. It went up, and they did say that this is the first time they've received such amounts of money.
No, they expressed dissatisfaction that they could have done. But you see,
they didn't. Well, if they expressed dissatisfaction, I want to know who expressed it, because whoever I spoke to did not express dissatisfaction.
Let me tell you the thinking of the farmer. Let me tell you the thinking of the farmer. The farmer is not naive. They are monitoring the prices of cocoa on the international scene. You, who is seated here today, if you have produced cocoa and on the international scene is being sold at a certain price and government intervenes, has given you 40% of same, would you be pleased? 40% of your own produce, would you be pleased? No, tell me if you'll be pleased.
I'm not a farmer.
No, would you? Generally.
If the money is good, why not?
What is good? Good is the percentage, the fraction of your input. That is good. When the fraction is less, it cannot be good. So when you are being paid about 40% of the price, the world market price of cocoa, you cannot say that is good. It is a general principle of humans. Everybody wants to be given a fair price for their output. You cannot pay about 40% to farmers and expect them to be happy or delighted at same. That is the point I'm making.
We hear you, Mr. Zhu. We hear.
I could see you love cocoa a lot. That's okay. Yes, sir.
Are you married, though?
Yes, I'm married.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm married.
With how many children?
I have 3 beautiful daughters.
That's nice.
3 beautiful daughters, yeah.
That's lovely. Are we going to have more?
No, I think I'm done.
You're done?
Yes, I think I'm done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm done.
Where did you get your name from, Zhu? What does it mean?
It's this question, you have to ask my great-grandparents. That is actually my surname. Yeah, that's actually my surname.
But what's the meaning of it?
In Ewe, it means anvil.
Okay.
You know, the anvil the blacksmith used on which they hit their metal is actually called Zu.
Zu?
Yeah, Zu.
Oh, wow.
Anvil, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. You get a lot of people asking you what it means, right?
A lot. I get it.
Yeah.
So in Ewe, it means anvil.
What do you do to relax?
For relaxation, I listen to music.
What's your favorite?
Surprisingly, I love Bobobo.
What? Really?
I have different tracks of Bobobo. It's my favorite. It's my favorite local genre. I love it a lot. I think we have not been able to commercialize Bobobo. Bobobo has a capacity to go global, man.
Right.
We've got to do a lot more.
I think you should do that.
Globalize Bobobo.
You should.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it. Have you ever had a look at Bobobo ensemble being played before?
Yes.
Don't you love it?
I love Bobobo.
The gestures, the mannerisms.
I know what you love about Bobobo, though.
I forgive you.
But it's been a wonderful conversation. So what's your favorite food too?
I love fufu. Yeah, I love fufu.
No, I'm not hearing an man saying that.
Oh yeah, I love fufu.
How do you love Bobobo and you love fufu?
What many people do not know is that fufu has become national. Fufu is no longer an Asante thing. Fufu is national. My mother actually loves fufu.
Oh, wow.
So she raised me with a love for fufu. And I love my fufu. I do.
Oh, that's
I love
nice.
It. Yeah, I do.
Kwame, let's talk about, I think I have barely like 2 minutes to go.
That's fine.
Just give a message to your people watching. Of course, we have a lot of NDC persons who have tuned in, and even other people who are more floating voters who have tuned in as well. Maybe you can convince an MPP person to vote for the NDC as well. Your message before you go.
We should assess our present living conditions and be fair to ourselves if this is where we want to see our country be. I think the prospects for this country are enormous, but we can only realize same through competent leadership that is committed to the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian. I think John Mahama has that competence, and more importantly, that passion to turn around our fortunes. All hope is not lost. But more importantly, we can only get to the promised land when we work to redeem ourselves on the 7th of December this year. And I'm very confident that beyond the NDC, the Ghanaian will join hands with us so that we can realize this dream to make John Mahama the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
His name is Kwame Zu. You have presidential aspirations?
Every Ghanaian has presidential Every Ghanaian.
Kwame doesn't want to get his hands tied this morning. Thank you so much for being here. We are super grateful. Let's see if we can get some Bobobo tune for him. Let's see if we can get.
I like that.
We'll try and get you Bobobo.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for watching Prime Morning this morning. We've had an amazing time because you were our virtual guest. My name is Roslyn Felly. I didn't do this alone. I did this with the lady, Estia Dua Akomia. We'll be back again tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And a very, very big thank you to all of you and our production team. We love you. Camera, sound, everybody. We love you. Thank you so much for putting this together. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.